sobriety help you succeed? Can sobriety help you take responsibility for your own life, for yourself? Um, the simple answer to that, it's complex, but the simple answer is yes. Sobriety can lead to both of those things. We can take responsibility for ourselves and our lives, which ultimately leads to success. So, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's not going to take work. So, some of you might be wondering, I've had some time sober, but I still don't notice much of a change. Um, Things still seem to suck. Still, things still seem to not be working out the way that I had hoped and planned and prayed on. And to those people that are asking that question, will sobriety help you succeed? The answer is it's going to take time. It's going to take work. It's going to take an effort. The thing about this is that the only person that can change our outcomes and our success and our failure, and who determine our success and our failure, is ourselves. We're the only ones. Nobody can hand us anything. I mean, sure, things can work out. Some people can help us. Some things, luck can go our way. Sometimes that's just the way it works out. But a lot of times it just takes will and perseverance for these things to occur. And what once we start to recognize that, especially when we're hooked on alcohol, we're addicted to alcohol, we're waking up every day, we're not feeling well, we're not handling life and life's responsibilities well, we're not handling the things that aren't working out in our lives well. Once we start to recognize that um, it's up to us, then that's really ultimately when these successes start to happen. So I'll give you a little bit of a background on my life and my sobriety. I didn't particularly um, think that I had to put in work for things to work out for me. I didn't think that I had to uh, give it my best effort for things to work out for me. I ultimately thought that things were going to work out for me regardless of if I put the time and the effort in. I really thought that life kind of owed me something, and I really just felt like that's just how it was going to go for my entire life. So I turned to alcohol and I never looked back. I continued to drink. I continued to fall into that trap of alcoholism. I really started to fall into the pattern of daily drinking. That was really when I started to notice that I had a problem with it. Well, in my 20s, I didn't drink every single day. I drank a lot, but I didn't drink every single day. And welcome, soccer. And let's see here. We got yo, I care, Joshy. I like that. And so the biggest thing is to realize that addiction, when I started to recognize that I was drinking every single day, that was really when I started to recognize that I wasn't taking full responsibility for my life, myself. I was hoping and praying that God would give me what I needed. I was hoping and praying that the people around me were going to be able to help me get to where I wanted to go. I was praying that I didn't have to do the work that's necessary to make life work and be successful. So ultimately, those led to a lot of losses. You know what I mean? That led to simply uh, not taking full responsibility for my own life, my own actions. So you want to know. Welcome, random. So you're curious if sobriety can lead to success. The simple and short answer is absolutely. It can lead to success. The reason I say that is because um, I couldn't find success and I couldn't take responsibility for my own actions while I was hooked on alcohol. And once I started to get a little bit of sober time, I was able to kind of see, and I would say probably like a month, about 30 days of alcohol free was what it really kind of took for me to notice that things were finally looking up. But in tandem with my sobriety, I was um, going to therapy every week. I was on my group forum for sobriety every day, nonstop. I was on it 24/7, basically. I mean, I needed that group all the time. So that became kind of a habit on its own. And you want to talk about good habits? That's one of them. Drinking is obviously not a good habit. I mean, if you're only drinking one and you're done, more power to you. If you're able to drink one or two, great. But that wasn't me. I was one after another, and so that ultimately opened my eyes to the fact that if I wanted to change my life and have success in my life, I was going to have to um, stay sober. I couldn't continue on in that path because it was leading to destruction. So, with that said, sobriety by itself isn't going to is not going to solve it for us. Just having, I think that's why a lot of people that have to quit because of legal reasons, because of reasons that they're given by their spouse, health reasons. I think that's one of the ultimate reasons why they're still miserable is because they didn't put in the work that it was going to take to get success, to take responsibility for our own actions, and ultimately have wins in our life, one win after another. If we feel like we're quitting alcohol because we have to, not because it's our choice, just like anything else in life, it's going to feel like it's forced on us, and that's not going to be sustainable. That's not uh, fun. It's not adventurous to think that way. And ultimately, uh, the goal is to get some sober time. I'm talking like 30 days. Go a month without alcohol. A lot of people do like dry January or sober October, and yeah, that can help. But then a lot of times people go right back into drinking in November, and the problem with that is that yeah, you prove to yourself that you can make it 30 days without alcohol. Yeah, I mean that's good, but that's not. If you have a problem with alcohol, it's not sustainable to just go right back into that. I mean, I would take a week off sometimes, and then I'd go right back into drinking, and then I'd continue drinking more, and then I was right back to where I was and even worse. And I think that that's what it's like for people that relapse. So what I'm saying is like 30 days, um, and uh, 30 days is kind of like the baseline. So you can make it 30 days. If you can make it to the next milestone, 60 days, and you are also working on your self-esteem, working on the things that made you feel ashamed, making you feel guilty all the time. If you're working through those issues, um, and I'm talking about like with like a therapist or somebody who, knows what addiction is really like, who specializes in it, and also having a group of people around you that, um, yeah, 90 days, Michael, absolutely. 90 days. For me, it was between 60 and 90 days where I found the most benefit. It was around day 72 or 73 where I had my last huge uh, craving for alcohol. Um, and I was on that day and I was feeling guilty about how I was acting on my last binge session, and how I was just taking my pain and my misery out on those that I cared about the most. And so ultimately, I was having a guilty feeling. I was craving a drink, several drinks. I was craving an escape. And ultimately, what I did was what I had done in the past, which is I get on my sober group, I be vulnerable, I talk about why I'm feeling the way that I am. Sometimes you don't know why you're feeling the way that you are, and it takes a little bit of investigating, or a little bit, just at least a little bit of thought. So I would type that out on my sobriety group, and I talked to my wife for a little bit. She happened to be home that day, and then I got back on my sobriety group, and somebody, one of my friends that chimed in all the time, said, "If you get through this urge, you're going to be stronger for the next one." And she was right. By the time I read that, I had already gotten through the urge. It was about an hour later. And man, that was the last big craving for alcohol that I had. So yeah, that was day 72. Michael says, did my first rehab in May of 23, Jacksonville, Florida. My dad died from cancer January 24. My condolences. Completely destroyed me. I relapsed, and now I'm just trying to get back on the boat. So that was last year. Um, s- Sorry for the comments on the beginning. I was no problem. I noticed on my last live that there were some pretty funny comments, pretty rude, but still, I mean, funny nonetheless. But I kind of ignore it. I mean, I don't really. It doesn't phase me, which honestly is one of the reasons why I was able to start this channel. I was able to kind of get to a point where I didn't let what other people said bother me. Yeah, I mean, there's still times in regular life when people say something to you face to face. There's still people that say stuff on this channel. There's still people that say stuff online that are hurtful. But I mean, for the most part, it's just like you just kind of take it with a grain of salt. So yeah, no problem. But yeah, even haters help the algorithm. That's true. I did read that at some point, that dislikes, like thumbs down, help your channel. Negative comments can help your channel. And I honestly, my videos haven't had tons of comments. I've gotten quite a few on this on the live stream, but I didn't start doing the live stream till like a month ago, and I've noticed there's a lot more interaction, a lot more dialogue, and that's great. And honestly, I didn't even really start being able to scroll down and look at the comments um, until like the last live stream I did on Friday. I do these Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm trying to stay consistent with it, and of course I have to work sometimes in that time frame, and I gotta do that. But this is kind of my side thing. I'm doing this kind of. I mean, I'm not making money on it yet. My ultimate goal is to make money on it, and absolutely, yeah. Click on the link to my channel and please like and subscribe. I put out a video every Wednesday and Sunday, long form video, and then I do live streams every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then I still do some shorts here and there, usually like once a week. I felt like my shorts were kind of taking over my channel, so I kind of stopped doing those and just kind of focused more on building the channel um, organically through the live stream and through the long form videos. But yeah, so success in sobriety. I mean, it takes first off, it takes a community of people, like-minded people that get it, that understand what it's like to be addicted, whether that's alcohol or drugs. It really just, I mean, it's all the same. Even just gambling, porn. I mean, all these things that we lean on to help us cope with life ultimately are really, we're escaping. We're using it as an escape. I mean, even just like movies, we use as an escape, and I mean that's fine if we're just looking to escape for an hour, a couple hours, a day, whatever, or we're taking a vacation, we're going, somewhere for a week. But ultimately, we end up back where we started. We got to go back to work. If we have kids, we got to, deal with the kids, the dogs, the pets, uh, the house, cars, responsibilities, everything that we have in our life. We have to go back to it eventually, and where does that lead us if we keep trying to escape in alcohol or drugs or whatever it is that's holding us back, and it really just makes things worse. I mean, it might feel good in the moment, and it does feel good in the moment for a little while, for an hour, to use it, but then the fallout from that, we're getting hangovers, we're saying things that we normally wouldn't say because we're kicking in our prefrontal cortex. We're kicking in the part of our brain that makes rational decisions and helps us filter what we're saying. We're kicking in our memory. Most of us that had problems with alcohol, we drank so much that we were blacking out, and we're not, remembering what people are saying to us. We're not remembering what we're doing. We're not living our authentic selves. And I mean, like I said, I was a binge drinker, so I had days where I was sober, and on those days I felt better than I ever did as on my drinking days. Yeah, I enjoyed my binge session. I enjoyed looking forward to it. I enjoyed uh, being in the moment of my drinking. I got good at it. I mean, I could drink a lot and still not, have a massive hangover the next day. I kind of figured out what I could tolerate, what I couldn't, and to a point where, but that was fine when I was single. Uh, but when I started a family, and I was still going further and further into my drinking, and I started to realize that it was awesome. Yep, I'll check that group shortly. I get on there. I get on the Facebook group Sobriety in the Storm probably every hour at least during the day, unless I'm at work. But yeah, I'll get on there and I'll accept you. So glad that you're there. And but yeah, those binge sessions, those were fun. I mean, I looked forward to it, and like I said, if I was working, I knew what I could drink, and I knew, because let's face it, we've all had days where we show up and we're hungover, we're sick, we're nauseated, we're not feeling well, we're not our best, we have headaches, and then kind of reflect on what we drank the night before and avoid it the next time. Either it's too much or we're mixing it with other alcohol. hard liquor, wine, beer, and we're mixing it all together. That was kind of like a no for me. Unless, of course, like I said, I didn't have anything to do the next day, then I was just all in on whatever. Um, Obviously, I didn't want to feel bad, so I tried to avoid that. But when I really knew that I had a problem with alcohol, um, and there were many instances, but at the end, it was the beginning of the pandemic, and I would binge drink beer all day. And then I would get to the end of the day, and I'd get to the end of like 4 or 5 days of doing that, and I would look for more. So I would drink hard liquor. I'd mix in some vodka, some bourbon or whatever, and then the next day I would just feel sick. So I would take that whole day off, and and then I'd start back up again the next day, and repeat that cycle. And I couldn't stop doing it. I wasn't able to control the the alcohol. I wasn't able to control how much I drank and what I drank. And I needed to escape, and that's just the way that it was. I mean, yes, the pandemic had a lot to do with that. I mean, we were all worried. We were all trying to stay healthy. We were all trying our best to not um, get sick, get COVID. So, um, so that played into it. But for me, it was the bottles and cans accumulating in my garage that really opened up my eyes to my problems with it. Here in Michigan, we have bottle returns, and I couldn't take my cans and bottles back. So bag after bag was accumulating in my garage, and every time I'd go in there, I was like, man, that's going into my body, 50, 60 cans of beer in a few days, couple days. And that was really the eye-opening thing for me. So sobriety with working on the other issues, because for me, alcohol was like a symptom of my problem. My drinking was a symptom of my issues. It wasn't the whole issue, but getting over that addiction was ultimately the cure all to be able to take a step further and work on what was really broken within me, which was my self-esteem, my self-worth, and all those things that go along with self. And that was really what it took for me to finally start to work on those things and have success, was was not drinking. And the longer I went without alcohol, I started to recognize that I felt better. And once I made it to those 30 days, the 60 days, the 90 days, uh, that's really when I started to recognize that if I can make it to these next milestones, I'm going to be even further in my growth development, because I was 15 when I turned to alcohol. So there was so many parts of my brain that did not fully develop, and the alcohol and my addiction stunted my growth. Uh, Even though I kept trying to fix myself, and I think that we can still better ourselves even if we're drinking or we're stuck in addiction. It's just a slower process. It holds us back, and we can get where we want to go faster if we're just not drinking. So by the time I got to my ultimate goal, which was 1 year of not drinking, I was thinking, I feel way better. I've improved so much on a few aspects of my life. I'm going to spend this next year gaining on it even more. And then I started making like resolutions. So I'd start to gain perspective. Like, I didn't go into the year thinking about what my resolution would be, but I started to think about it like a few weeks in advance. And a few weeks into the new year, I was like, man, I'm really working on this. I'm just going to make this my goal for the entire year. And then that's what I did. So now I'm 5 years sober, And every year I have a new goal, a new resolution, and I'm able to keep building on that. And it's just like an avalanche of good things instead of an avalanche of bad things, which was really what it was like drinking. It was just one bad thing after another. It didn't mean I didn't have successes like getting good jobs, graduating from college, getting married, having kids, buying a house. All these things happened, but um, but there was always an underlying issue, and then once I quit drinking, I realized there were all these other underlying issues that I had to kind of work out, and I was able to do that because I wasn't drinking anymore, and that part of my problems kind of um, kind of cleared up, and I was able to kind of just move on from that, take responsibility for my actions, realize that nobody's going to hand anything to me. It's going to be earned. I've got to go out and work for it, work hard, the things that I want, like building this channel, building this community. Is a huge goal for me. It's not just a resolution for the year, it's a long term goal. Growing in my faith, finding God, believing that Jesus is my Lord and Savior, and all these things play a factor in um, my daily life now. And I read scripture every morning. I read the Bible last year, cover to cover, um, and I started this channel for God's glory, and so that I could kind of spread the good news about sobriety, about faith, and I've kind of turned more to faith into sobriety on the channel than faith, more sobriety and more of the things that I do in my daily life that is alcohol free, because there's a lot of things that I do that there's alcohol all around me, but it doesn't really phase me. It doesn't bother me. I don't look at it and I don't think about it, and that's a huge asset to be able to do that. And uh, and so yeah, so thank you, Michael, for joining my group on Facebook. I'll go check that out. Everybody, thank you for being here today. It was a little bit earlier than I normally do. I usually start these at 10, but um, I got to work early today. So I'll be back on Wednesday at 10. And please like and subscribe if you found this live stream helpful. Please check out more of my videos. I've got my sobriety group, Sobriety in the Storm, pinned in the comments on all my videos. So, yeah, we'll see you over there, and have a great sober day, everybody, and keep the faith.